Hello everyone, welcome to History and Culture. During Chinese history, the Ming Dynasty lasted for about 3 centuries. Throughout this period, there were not only many wise emperors but also numerous virtuous and gentle empresses. Among them, Empress Zhang, the wife of Emperor Renzong of Ming. Zhu Gaoqi was one of the most outstanding examples. Empress Zhang assisted 3 successive emperors during her lifetime. With her support, the nation was governed successfully, laying a solid foundation for the Ming dynasty's prosperity. It is often said that without Empress Zhang, the later celebrated rule of Ren and Xian might never have come to pass. Some even praised her as a sage among women, elevating her reputation to great heights. So, what exactly did Empress Zhang do to earn such profound admiration from later generations? According to historical records, Empress Zhang was born into an ordinary family. Her father, Zhang Qi, was a military officer. As an adult, Zhang entered the palace through the imperial selection process and married Zhu Gaoqi, the eldest son of the Prince of Yan, Zhu Di, thus becoming the Princess of Yan. Shortly after, Zhu Di raised an army under the banner of clearing the court of evil ministers, launching the Jingnan campaign. Eventually, Zhu Di seized the throne and became known in history as Emperor Yongle. In the second year after Zhu Di's accession, he appointed his eldest son, Zhu Gaoqi, as crown prince. And naturally, Zhang was made crown princess. However, Crown Prince Zhu Gaoqi was often in poor health and had a mild, honest nature. Traits that did not particularly endear him to Zhu Di. In contrast, Zhang was intelligent, composed, and capable. And she bore a bright and clever son, Zhu Zhangji. Records show that, deep down, Zhu Di actually preferred his second son, Zhu Gaoxiu, who was brave in battle and whose temperament and personality closely resembled his own. By comparison, the eldest son Zhu Gaoqi seemed dull, unremarkable in appearance, and lacking charisma, leading Zhu Di to repeatedly consider replacing the crown prince. However, Crown Princess Zhang was exceptionally astute. She keenly observed Zhu Di's differing attitudes toward his 2 sons, and realized that the position of crown prince was precarious. Thus, she carefully navigated the palace intrigues, maintaining prudence and tact, while also relying on her son, Zhu Zhangji, to win the favor of Empress Su and Zhu Di. Through Zhang's intelligence and patience, along with the trust she earned from Zhu Di and Empress Su, she successfully stabilized the situation, ultimately dissuading Zhu Di from deposing the crown prince and safeguarding Zhu Gaoqi's position. In the 22nd year of the Yongle era, 1424, Zhu Di passed away, and Crown Prince Zhu Gaoqi smoothly ascended the throne as emperor, soon officially appointing his wife, Zhang, as empress. During his reign, Emperor Renzong of Ming diligently governed and cared for the people, bringing order to the state, social stability, and a period of prosperity for the populace. Unfortunately, heaven did not grant him long years. Zhu Gaoqi died suddenly less than a year after ascending the throne, leaving behind Empress Zhang and their young son, Zhu Zhangji. Facing this abrupt tragedy, Empress Zhang suppressed her grief and swiftly arranged for Zhu Zhangji to ascend the throne, ensuring a smooth transfer of imperial power. After Zhu Zhangji's enthronement, he immediately honored his mother with the title of Empress Dowager. Having been raised by Empress Zhang from a young age, Zhu Zhangji held deep respect for her and highly trusted her wisdom and political insight. Especially during the early years of his reign, he would consult the Empress Dowager on major military and political decisions, only issuing formal decrees after receiving her approval. In reality, during the initial years of Zhu Zhangji's rule, much of the military and governmental authority was effectively in the hands of Empress Dowager Zhang. However, Zhang maintained a strict sense of propriety. Though she participated in major state affairs, she only offered suggestions and never overstepped her role, always leaving the final decisions to Zhu Zhangji. Fully aware that historical cases of relatives of the empress interfering in politics often led to disaster, Zhang also strictly restrained her own family, especially her brother, Zhang Xianzhong, firmly preventing them from meddling in state affairs. She meticulously upheld the dignity of the imperial authority, supporting the young emperor while avoiding the chaos of political interference by the empress's clan. Under the influence of Empress Dowager Zhang, Zhu Zhangji not only diligently managed state affairs but also showed great compassion for the people, bringing even greater order and prosperity to the country. Toward his mother, he was exceptionally filial. Whenever foreign tributary states presented rare treasures, he would promptly send them to the Empress Dowager's palace as gifts of filial piety. The deep affection and harmonious relationship between mother and son became a model praised throughout the imperial court. According to historical records, during the reigns of Emperor Renzong and Emperor Xuanzong, the nation experienced economic prosperity, social stability, and secured borders. The people lived in peace and abundance, and the national strength of the Ming Dynasty reached a new peak. Later generations referred to this golden age of peace and good governance as the prosperous era of Ren and Xian. Unfortunately, the good times did not last long. Emperor Xuanzong of Ming, Zhu Zhangji, passed away at the young age of 37. With her husband and son dying one after another, Empress Zhang was overwhelmed with grief, bedridden, and almost unable to get up. When Zhu Zhangji died, the crown prince Zhu Qizhen was only 9 years old, a mere child, while the Empress Dowager herself was seriously ill, plunging the court into chaos. Rumors spread like wildfire, with some even claiming that Empress Zhang intended to enthrone her own son, Zhu Zhanshan, as emperor. When Empress Zhang heard these malicious rumors, she flew into a rage. Gritting her teeth and braving her illness, she personally summoned all the ministers to the Qianqing palace. In front of the entire court of civil and military officials, Empress Zhang firmly and unequivocally announced that the young crown prince Zhu Qizhen would immediately ascend to the throne, using decisive action to silence those with ulterior motives. Thus, Zhu Qizhen ascended the throne smoothly, known in history as Emperor Renzong of Ming. After his accession, he honored his biological mother, Lady Sun, as Empress Dowager, while Empress Zhang was bestowed the title of Grand Empress Dowager. Since Zhu Qizhen was too young to handle state affairs, some ministers proposed that Grand Empress Dowager Zhang should attend court sessions and manage state affairs on his behalf. However, Empress Zhang firmly refused. She clearly stated that women of the harem should not interfere in politics, nor should their natal families meddle in court matters. Still, Empress Zhang remained deeply uneasy. After all, entrusting the fate of the country to a 9-year-old child was fraught with risks. Therefore, she specially instructed Zhu Qizhen, when faced with major issues in court, he must listen to the advice of respected and loyal senior ministers, and he must be particularly wary of palace eunuchs, never allowing them to seize too much power. Unfortunately, the young and inexperienced Zhu Qizhen grew especially fond of a eunuch named Wang Mang. Relying on the emperor's favor, Wang Mang began to meddle in major state affairs. Upon learning this, Grand Empress Dowager Zhang was furious, believing that allowing a eunuch to wield power would eventually lead to disaster, even considering having Wang Mang executed. However, because both the emperor and the ministers pleaded for Wang Mang, she ultimately chose to be lenient, merely giving Wang Mang a stern warning not to interfere in politics again. In 1442, the elderly Grand Empress Dowager Zhang fell gravely ill and was bedridden, barely clinging to life. Even on her deathbed, she remained concerned about the safety of the realm. She specially summoned Minister Yang Shiqi to inquire whether there were hidden dangers within the court. Seeing that the Empress Dowager was critically ill, Yang Shiqi knelt beside her bed, choking with emotion as he reported on state affairs. However, before Yang could finish, Grand Empress Dowager Zhang quietly passed away. After Empress Zhang's death, the entire nation mourned her deeply. She was buried alongside Emperor Renzong of Ming, Zhu Gaoqi, in the Xianling Mausoleum. The Xianling Mausoleum is located beneath the western peak of Tianshou Mountain in Chongping District, Beijing, facing approximately 20 degrees southwest. It is the final resting place of the fourth emperor of the Ming Dynasty, Zhu Gaoqi, and his Empress, Zhang. The Xianling Mausoleum is the second imperial tomb built among the Ming Dynasty's 13 tombs, covering an area of about 42,000 square meters. Although not particularly large in scale, it boasts a superior geographical location and a carefully designed layout. Construction of the Xianling Mausoleum began in the first year of the Hongxi reign, 1425, and was completed in the 8th year of the Zhengtong reign, 1443. Taking a total of 18 years to complete. The mausoleum is divided into three major sections: the Sacred Way, the Mausoleum Palace, and the auxiliary structures. Along the Sacred Way stands the Shengde Steel Pavilion, which commemorates the emperor's virtues and achievements. The Mausoleum Palace area includes major structures like the Treasure City, the Ming Tower, the Precious Mound, the Lingyan Hall, the Lingyan Gate, and the side halls. All crucial components of an imperial tomb. Beyond the Mausoleum Palace, many auxiliary structures were also built, such as the Slaughter Pavilion, Divine Kitchen, Sacrificial Office, Reception Halls, Orchards, Hazelnut Factory, Fruit Drying Factory, Tomb Guarding Offices, and Barracks. These facilities were designed for sacrificial ceremonies, defense, and the daily management of the mausoleum. In terms of feng shui, the Xianling Mausoleum features an inner Ming Hall layout, with its most distinctive characteristic being that the above-ground structures are naturally divided by a mountain called Yuan Mountain, creating two separate courtyards, front and rear. Because of this mountain division, the front and rear courtyards of Xianling are clearly separated, unlike the unified layout of other imperial tombs, giving it a unique character. This design not only aligned with the ancient emperor's strict feng shui principles but also gave the entire mausoleum an especially solemn and majestic appearance, exuding a distinctive grandeur. This is the History and Culture channel. Liking and subscribing are the greatest help and support to us. Thank you everyone and see you in the next time.